Hey everyone, this is Spencer from Fresh Farm Aquaponics, and today I'm going to just do this quick video to go over something that really resonated at the crowd of our last meetup group. So this is an excerpt from the presentation from that day, and what I hope it'll help you do, and this is called the Aquaponic Trifecta. What I hope this will help you do is to understand a key idea that will ensure the strong foundation in aquaponics for your quick results and certainty when you get moving forward with your project. So this is something that we've based all of our systems off of. It's sort of like a mental model to help you through those initial hard days. And let me show you what we've gotten with this idea in mind. But first, make sure to download your worksheet. So this is at this link right below this video on our website. So just click it and you'll get a worksheet that looks just like this. You'll notice all the different lines for each piece, and I hope you can just use this as a handy guide to taking notes and keep it around as sort of a hard copy to remind you about the Aquaponic Trifecta whenever you need to kind of recall that simple mental model. So this is a picture not of our actual first system, but of a sort of recreation that we made once we got back home to Connecticut. Our first system we built in my apartment room in Boston, but this is basically the exact same system recreated. This is the plant bed up top, a little media bed made out of a Rubbermaid tub. And you can sort of see that it's sitting on top of a fish tank below. That fish tank is just that. It's the fish tank and the sump all in one. It's a very crude but very effective aquaponics desktop system. You can see a couple different types of mint in there. Mint grows like crazy everywhere, but in aquaponics it's a whole nother story. This is a picture of the backyard system at my house down here in Glastonbury, Connecticut. You can see 5 beds here. There's also another bed tucked away on the other side over there. And here's our fish tank right in the center. And right down here, you can see the sump tank where all the beds empty into. You can see us starting to build that out. Media's gone in. A couple plants are even planted, and we're putting up our greenhouse. This greenhouse is awesome. It's gotten us through 2 winters here. So right now, it's actually... I'm filming this in the middle of February, and it's under probably 5 or 6 feet of snow because of all the pileup, and it's still going strong. So go 1-inch PVC, or it might even be 3/4. Here you can see it with the whole greenhouse skeleton laid out. Plants are coming along nicely. Plants are coming along even more nicely, and boom. We got a jungle. There's probably 20 to 25 different types of crops in here. Everything from jasmine, exotic jasmine, and ginger is hidden in here, to, like I said, mint, different types of basil. This is Thai basil. Back here is Genovese basil. We had pineapple sage somewhere in here. You can see kales littered throughout. There's beans crawling all over the fish tank because we used the metal as a trellis. It worked out pretty nicely. And this is in my backyard, so I'm really loving it. And here is the dirt patch that we started with up at Rob's farm. This is our largest system yet, what we call our community farm. Excuse me. And so we turned this patch with the secret I'm about to explain to you. We turned that patch into a working aquaponics system. Here it is, the whole team laid out who built it, and with the water filled in. And then a few months later, you can see the greenhouse is up. This is in the middle of winter. We're all closed off for the winter. I think this is in late November or early December. And you can see a variety of different lettuces here just growing like crazy. So we're getting massive season extension for here in Connecticut. And great produce, and it's really come down to one essential secret that that we think is sort of being skimmed along in most aquaponics conversations. Like, it's not that it's exactly hidden, but it's hidden in plain sight. It's It's not getting the attention it deserves, I guess you could say. And this is the Aquaponics Trifecta. So this is, I believe, the answer to how do the fish and plants work so symbiotically well together. Well, it's all about the microbes, baby. You know, it's commonly said that aquaponics is the combination of aquaculture, the farming of fish, and hydroponics, the growing of plants in water. And that's actually where the name comes from, aquaponics, aquaculture, hydroponics. But I don't know if that's really the best description of aquaponics. I think the best description of aquaponics is that it's a self-contained ecosystem. So it's a little slice of nature that we have kind of cordoned off and allowed to grow in optimal conditions. So what that really means is that we're microbe farmers. Because when it comes down to it, the microbes are truly the most important part of an aquaponics system. They are the only thing that allows the waste of the fish to become vital nutrients for the plants. In nature, the healthy microbial and microorganism layer, I guess you could say, living amongst all the plants and animals of the forest and the world, they're really what breaks down nutrients and allows it to continue in the large cycle that kind of engulfs our earth. And if we don't give the nutrients and the microbes the attention and respect that they deserve, then it's really going to be impossible to create a thriving microbial system in your aquaponics system. And it's, like I said, to design your system around creating an environment where microbes thrive, and you will have certain success. If your microbes are happy, then that means that your fish are happy and your plants are happy. So many aquaculturalists or hydroponic growers are kind of daunted by having to take care of both fish and plants at the same time. But what I'm offering to you is a simplified mindset which says that if my microbes are happy, then chances are my plants and fish are happy. So what you need to do is really design your system to create a thriving environment for microbial success. So here is the Aquaponics Trifecta in two parts. First is what we call the software. So this is like the living stuff inside of the system. So first you have your fish. They're sort of the primary adders to the system because the nutrients all start here. The fish eat their fish food, and sort of as the primary consumers in the ecosystem, they release waste which becomes the primary nutrients throughout the entire flow of the system. So for the fish, we like to keep ours in limited light. Most types of fish, I should say, you need to always check on your specific species, but many types of fish actually like a little bit of filtered light and not too much light, because the light can actually kind of scare them, makes them feel vulnerable. So it's important to keep your fish very comfortable and at ease. Stressed fish means stress hormones in your system, which means stress hormones all the way down the nutrient line. On top of that, it's vital to have a quality food for your fish, because what goes in is what comes out, and your plants are only the product of that original fish food. So if you have Tetra Flakes from the Petco, that's not going to give you the vital nutrients that you need to have a well-run plant bed. But if you can get some fish food that's intentionally designed for aquaponics, then you'll really end up having quality plants at the end. And finally, it's important to consider mixing the types of fish that you add. So you can have both fish that eat fish food, but then you can add a secondary type of fish like catfish that'll actually eat waste and algae off the floor. And this will act as a further filtration method and to help expand the nutrients in the system itself. The second part of the aquaponic software trifecta is the microbes and in some cases worms. So it's important to, like I said, keep your microbes happy, because they're going to do the conversion from the fish into the plants. And this is why they're the pinnacle. Treating them well is going to ensure that your nutrients are well maintained by the microbes. So number one, you definitely want to keep your microbes in a happy temperature range, and this is what we found between 55 degrees Fahrenheit and about 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Below 55 degrees, you're definitely going to start getting hibernation and die-off from your microbes, and that means a halting in any sort of nitrogen cycling that they're doing. And above 95, you'll also start to get some die-off, and that will start to throw your ammonia levels out of whack and potentially lead to a system death. On top of that, you're definitely going to want a good quality media that has hopefully maybe some trace minerals in it itself, but you definitely want it to have both micropores and nanopores, and I'll tell you what I mean. Micropores are small enough that you can still see them, but they're very, very tiny, and they serve as the home to the actual microbes themselves, sort of like an apartment building in a city. So the more pores at the micro scale, the more microbes can live in the media and therefore establish a secure route from which to start transforming the nutrients. Rather than having a nomadic microbe floating through the water, you have a more established or civilized microbe who's better able to actually transmute ammonia into nitrogen. And then you also want your media to have nanopores, and these are very small, way smaller than you could see, and what they do is attract the actual nutrients themselves. They act sort of like storehouses where the nutrients are held and at the microbe's leisure are absorbed. So the more micro and nanopores together, the more you have an established civilized microbial population that is better able to network together and transfer nutrients across the system. And the final thing I think to remember with the microbes is that when you're starting your system, it takes about 30 days to start up unless you're using a good quality inoculant. So the 30-day startup means that you'll go from having primarily ammonia in your system for the first week or two to having primarily nitrite with an I, nitrites in your system for the second week or third week, and then nitrates is what you're looking for with an A, nitrate at the end of the 30-day cycle. Those nitrates are the proper form of nitrogen for the plants. And that brings us to the plants. So the fish leave the original fertilizer over to the microbes who transform it into the appropriate fertilizer for the plants. So when you're dealing with plants, they'll already have that gorgeous, delicious fertilizer water thanks to the microbes and fish. So from there, you just want to ensure that they have proper lighting, and that's always plant dependent, but you'll consider both artificial and natural lighting depending on your system setup. You'll also want to look into companion planting, which can be found with a simple Google. Google whatever plant you're looking at and then companion planting. And what you'll find is that because aquaponics is a self-contained ecosystem, you're going to want to really respect the idea of an ecosystem and find plants that live and work well together. And if you do this appropriately and balance enough companion plants together in the same garden, you'll really have a thriving ecosystem both above the soil and below. And on top of that, aquaponics is not yet perfect. You will probably need to add some supplemental nutrients at some point. Typically, most commonly, this is iron or perhaps calcium and magnesium. So these are common elements that you can supplement very organically with perhaps Epsom salt for the magnesium or sulfur. Calcium carbonate is crushed coral and will add calcium, but watch that because it can throw your pH out of whack. And then iron can be added in different forms depending on your pH. So definitely look that up first because some iron does not work at certain pHs. So that's it with the software. You have your fish creating the original fertilizer for the microbes converting it for the plants, The plants then filter the nutrients out through their roots, converting it into green growth, and that clean water is then run back to the fish, closing this cycle. So now that you know the software, let's look into the hardware. So this is the second aspect of the trifecta. So we'll still start at the same spot with the fish. The fish are housed in the fish tank. This is no big surprise. So this is typically a large tank. It is definitely food safe, so you want to ensure that whatever material you're using, it's food safe, because if your fish die or if you consume something from a non-food safe container, that could definitely be detrimental to your health. So definitely check into the quality of container that you're using. On top of that, you'll obviously want to make sure that it's waterproof. So now that seems obvious, but definitely worth mentioning, because you know, if you don't mention it, sometimes you forget. And so from this fish tank, you have your fish, and they're creating the ammonia for the microbes to farm. But how does that fish tank water get anywhere? Well, it needs to move through the plumbing in order to connect into the microbes, which are primarily housed at the roots of the plants, so in the grow bed. So this plumbing is simply a situation-specific plumbing layout that leads from the fish tank up to the plant bed, where the plants are kept. So the plant bed can be of many types. It could be a deep water culture raft bed with no media or very little media in the cups, or it could be a media bed with tons of media and a ebb and flow system. So any type, you're always going to want to account for the microbes of the system. Like I said, they're the vital aspect, and if you forget them, your system will not be able to cycle properly, and your system will shut down. It is vital to have the microbes in your system. I can't tell you how many systems I've worked with that were broken simply because they did not have enough area for the microbes to support the filtration needed for the fish. So make sure that your plant bed and plumbing system have enough microbial aspect, like growing media or some sort of filter barrel, which I would consider plumbing. Make sure that that is incorporated into your plan. So that is the Aquaponics Trifecta. Like I said, it's a very simple idea, but I also believe it's very powerful. It's a really easy mental model to keep in mind when you're going through the initial confusing steps of starting up your own system. The fish living in the fish tank feed the microbes through the plumbing into the plant bed, which the plants then consume and then feed back to the fish. So keep this in mind when you're going forward in your mission as a microbial farmer. So remember, we're microbe farmers as aquaponics farmers. The soil food web, which is what we just discussed, the whole series of microorganisms such as nematodes, fungi, worms, and many, many more. What they really do is create a communication network within the soil and water. So like I mentioned, if we're dealing with DWC, most of the microbes are floating through the water, and you can consider them sort of like nomadic tribes. And the microbes are only able to interact with the microbes that they're directly touching. So that's why it's vital to think of a filter barrel or some sort of solution for deep water culture systems. Meanwhile, with a media bed, the media, because of its thick ability to hold on to nutrients and microbes, creates a very diverse communication network where roots are extended by the microbes themselves. So the microbes actually wrap onto the roots and act as extensions. They then network together so that a microbe in one corner can recognize that it needs a nutrient that can be found in another corner, and then it organizes those microbes to draw the nutrient from one corner to another. So they actually act as a living, breathing network, delivering nutrients where they need to be. That's what makes an older aquaponic system, what we call an aged aquaponic system, more valuable and more powerful at maintaining healthy plants. So if you really want to do some fruiting plants like tomatoes or cucumbers, something like that, you might want to consider waiting till your system is a year or two old and has an established microbial network that can handle those kind of nutrients. Like I said, nutrients are transported along the networks, and the stronger the network, the better the growth. So that's it for this video today. It went a little longer than I hoped, but I hope you stuck around and I hope you liked it. Please leave some comments if you did in the area below, or like it on Facebook or share it, and I'd really appreciate any feedback. Again, this was a little cut from our latest meetup where we had about 15 or 20 people, and they really seem to resonate with this idea. So I'd love to know if it resonates with you as well. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.